Okay, we're live already. Okay, great. Awesome. And so I want to share with you this evening what stood out for me from the scripture. It's a scripture many of us have read time and time again, and it is so it's great because for me this scripture speaks to the fact that God is concerned about us and about our business and our welfare. And so I want to is there, please, as you log in, thank you all so much for coming in. But as you log in, kindly mute your phone. So just check whether it's your laptop or your phone. Check that the mute button. Please mute, please. Kindly mute as you come in. Yeah. Coach Ayanda, if it's possible to mute Lungelwa, thank you so much. All right. Okay. So I'll just jump straight into it. Uh, the reading is taken from the book of Kings, Second Kings, chapter 4, from verses 1 to 7, and it's the story of Elisha and the widow's oil. A certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha, saying, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord, and the creditor is coming to take my 2 sons to be his slaves." So Elisha said to her, "What shall I do for you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?" And she said, "Your maidservant has nothing in the house but a jar of oil." Then he said, "Go, borrow vessels from everywhere, from all your neighbors, empty vessels. Do not gather just a few. And when you have come in, you shall shut the door behind you and your sons, and pour it into those vessels, and set aside the full ones." So she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured it out. Now it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said to her son, "Bring me another vessel." And he said to her, "There is not another vessel." So the oil ceased. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, "Go, sell the oil and pay your debts, and you and your sons live on the rest." The word of the Lord. So this touched me on several different levels. I've known this scripture since childhood, from the days of going door to door to preach the word. I've known and shared this, but it only hit me recently, the the depth of this message. Very first thing that struck my mind is the very first sentence is, "A certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets." So it means that this woman was from a lineage of people with integrity, people who are holy, people who are respected, people who are respectable, people who serve the Lord. Remember, now she said to when in what she was saying, she said, "You know that your servant feared the Lord." So her husband was a godly man. It was a godly family. So it hit me that we are not exempt from hardship. Godly as her husband was, now in the space of difficult challenges. So the fact that we are, we're upright and all, does not mean we are exempt from challenges. And then she said, now for me, this struck me, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and the creditors are coming for our sons." It opened my mind to the fact that there was no plan B. This woman now had inherited the debts of her husband. Some people leave wills and some people leave bills. And this woman had inherited bills. But what also hit me was, what type of bills, what kind of debt was exchangeable for human life? It must have been big. I don't know what the Jewish culture was. Was it couldn't have been a loaf of bread. It couldn't have been small money. Whatever it was, it must have been a huge debt, enough for her sons' lives to be taken. And in saying lives, because when they become slaves, they are slaves, for, I don't know, for life or for a time. But for her sons to have been taken over as slaves, it means that it must have been a substantial debt. And it just hit me now, as women in business, as people who are business people. Think about the present day. When a will that's not a legacy is not what is left behind, but what is left behind for the inheritance of the wife. So that means, for me, it matters what we as women do today, because of what could happen tomorrow. And then put yourself in the place of this woman, what she would have been going through in her head. Already she was mourning her husband, and now having to potentially lose her son. She must have been losing her mind, and thought, let me go to the prophet. Whatever he says, I'm sure he has a way out for me. But now, moving right along to the prophet Elisha, this woman brings her monkey. Her problem is the monkey. She brings it to him. Notice what the prophet does, as a person of authority, as a leader, as a thought leader, and as someone whom they've come to tell the problem. He asks two vital questions. What shall I do for you? So he comes with her, he speaks to her with clear intention, and asking her, almost saying, I hear your problem. Do you know what solution you're looking for? He puts it back to her. What shall I? He could have just easily told her, oh no, you just do this. But he put back her monkey back to her. And I'm speaking now to leaders. When somebody in your team comes to you with their problems, how do we hold it? Even in our families, do we immediately become problem solvers and step in to resolve the issues, rather than give back that monkey to the owner and help the person focus? That's what the prophet did. He helped her redirect what was going on in her head. What do you want me to do? Give me some clarity. Next question, very vital. What do you have in your house? And so I ask you, what do you have in your hands? What do you have in your hands? What's that thing that looks like nothing? So for me, the starting point is not empty. It's overlooked. What are you overlooking? And this is so vital in this third week of the month, where when the last month was ending, in March we were thinking, oh my gosh, March must have been, if March was good for you, yay, March was great, oh fantastic, I'm going to duplicate in April. And then you find that your April is looking like this. Oh, March past me, my goodness, I struggled. But April is that month, I'm going to do it, I'm on fire. Some of us have gone for Success Day. We're all on fire. We're going to do it, believing that everything we set out to do or to achieve, that it would be achieved. And then you're here now, third week of the month, and panic is beginning to set in. I've not yet achieved what I said. These people have not signed up. These sales have not come through. Payments have not. And now you're in that space where you are thinking that there is nothing working. He asked her, what do you have in your hand? And what was the first response? I have nothing. That scripture just took me straight from that point of I have nothing to where Jesus said to the Pharisees, who were all self-righteous, and he said to them, because you say you are not blind, so therefore you remain in your blindness. And I thought, oh my gosh, if it was the time of Jesus, where Jesus has a very perfect response, this woman, in your even saying, I have nothing, hey, remain in your nothingness. But God is gracious because he sees our heart. He must have known that woman didn't mean I don't have anything. But she overlooked, her first words that came out was almost overlooking what she even had. And she said, but, nothing but a small jar of oil. And I sat and thought, that oil, I wonder what quantity it was in being small. Could that have been the anointing oil her husband used to bless people, being from the prophet's family and all that? What type of oil was it? Was it a cooking oil? Whatever. And so she did not expect it. But the question matters. So when you are helping others or addressing people, addressing those, your business partners, the people in your team, the question changes everything. What do you have? What Elisha didn't give her was solution. He didn't give her something new. He helped her redirect her focus. And so at this point, in this third week of the month, what do you have? What products do you have? What have you not looked into in your business? What names, what contact list have you not looked at yet? When was the last time you went for, you did contact marketing, or you did you sold products? Have you checked in with your customers to say, okay, is it time for a refill? Your first time alloy buyers, the people you randomly sold products to, who have used the skincare product or the weight management, have you done a check-in? Because that check-in could be what would be. So what do you have? If you are feeling right now out of sorts, I don't know what to do, what do you have? Because it's easy for us to think, I don't have stock, or my stock is so low. What do you have? Okay, now it's all about taking inventory. It's not about what do you call it, embracing lack, but taking inventory on. And then the next point now was that the prophet gave her instruction: go borrow vessels from everywhere. What came to my head was that borrowing of vessels represent expansion, thinking out of the box, thinking in your community. Who can I speak to? What can I do? Who can I reach? Schools, have you thought about having that conversation with your child, and in those conversations where your child mentions a child who had an injury, or who got burned, or who is having breakouts, if you're having teenage kids, like, are we doing all that is possible? In this third week, between the third to fourth week, those are the period in business where the stress level can potentially increase, based on not having matched what you said you do with what you are doing. And so inaction increases, depression increases, loss of energy. Then you begin to find faults in every other person. But listen and think about this. He says borrow vessels, not he asked her. So what he did was, in him directing her, say go and borrow vessels, go outside. It means step out of your comfort zone. It means she had to leave her house. She literally had to go out of her house. Isolation limits multiplication. When you stay alone, when you remain where you are, when you don't reach out, when you don't talk. In the morning, what I was sharing to my team, I said that I know that when I'm going through the most, when fear begins to creep in as to, oh my gosh, I'm not yet where I want to be by this time of the month, I reach out to a mentor. I reach out to someone who is a leader in the business to say, I am battling right now. And what happens most of the time is to say, okay, quick one, let's take an inventory. What have you done? What can you do? By the time I finish with that conversation, I get some direction, I get some clarity as to, okay, the next 5 days. One thing that Coach Ayanda does not fail to say is, have you boosted? Have you done this? Have you shown up here? Have you done? She's good at giving that direction. One of our leaders, our team leader Lucy, will say, okay, let's take a look at it. How many bottles of aloe have you touched base? So even though we know what to do, sometimes we need that push to say, now think out of the box. Isolation limits multiplication. So when you are struggling and you're keeping quiet and you're not reaching out to the right people, because it's not important. You must reach out to everybody. Reach out, ask for help, collaborate, lean into relationships. This would be the time for you to consider the forever business owner who's closest to you, the person who is around you, to say, can we do something together? This is the time to ask people who you know, love and trust, people who know, like and trust you, for partnerships. In fact, this is the time for all those people who are looking at your status, for you who are scrolling down to send say, oh, thank you so much. I saw that you liked my status. Do you know somebody who might be in need of this product? Have you experienced, whatever it is that you have shared? This is the time. And remember, you don't have to be sharing about your products for you to even have that conversation. It could have just been you coming back from church and dancing and say, oh, wow, are you off? Start a conversation. Start a conversation. You never can tell what would. So this is at this point, just saying borrowing vessels represent expansion through community. This is the time to take advantage of the community for you to move on. Now, he said not a few. Oh my goodness. Saying not a few just takes me to think bigger. A lot of us are still thinking, when we hear people say, oh, I'm growing international businesses, we actually think, it's for those who know. You really, if you sit down and think, the people you went to school with, the people you worked with, the people who have emigrated, the boss you used to have, all those people around you, not a few. So think bigger, expand your mind, expand your horizon, expand. Don't just, he specifically said, don't gather a few. So it means go out, reach out, far reaching, and then see what you. So your level of expectations determines your level of outcome. If you cannot think bigger, you really can't achieve more. So this is where we are called to think out of the box, think of what is possible. Let's stop shrinking our vision. Let's stop shrinking. And honestly, when we beat ourselves and say, yo, 4cc is so hard, honestly, you will experience the hardness of 4cc. When we think that, no, even if I can just do 0.5 in my business, honestly, when you don't do your 4K's credits, the biggest loss is not to the person who is your mentor. It is to you. Because if you're honest with yourself, you know what crosses my mind, during the walk, the Emmaus walk, and I don't know, forgive me if we have non-Christians here. I am using biblical stories because I'm Christian and that's what I connect to, but I'm hopeful that the story will guide you and help you. One thing I think of is the walk, the Emmaus walk, when Jesus walked with those two disciples that, were sharing. He was walking like an innocent person, asking them what's been happening in Jerusalem. And they asked him, are you the only stranger in town? And then by the time he reveals himself to them, what did they say? Did our hearts not beat within us as he spoke to us? So there was something, they knew this man was talking from truth. Did our hearts not beat within us? And I think that our hearts, before anybody else accuses you, before somebody else says to you, you're not doing your best, your conscience has already accused you. You have that knowing that, no, I'm not doing my best. If we tell ourselves the truth, your heart will tell you that you are not doing your best. And so when we shrink our vision, when we shrink from what we can do, to say, let me just do 0.5, at least I tried. Let me just do, I've gone through so much stress. As wide as you're ready, if you scale your mindset and you don't just prepare for survival, you prepare for overflow. If you think, you speak, you act in readiness for overflow, you will experience it. So the next thing that caught my mind was the fact that he says, when you have come in, shut the door behind you. Shut the door behind you. Oh my gosh, that hit me. Why would he instruct her to shut the door behind her? Because what he was asking her now to do was something that was insane. If we tell ourselves the truth, it was insane. You need insane faith to do that. So he tells her, go borrow, and then tells her, shut the door behind you. So shut the door to negativity, shut the door to the neighbors, shut the door. Do you know who block the noise? Literally, yes. Shut the door, block it, because they don't, the message that has been given to you was not given to them. So they don't get it. They won't get it. They shouldn't get it. It was for you. It was for her. So he told her, shut the door behind her, you. If she had left the door open and people was like, hey, Sisi, when's Zani? What are you doing? And then she says, the prophet, the way in which all that trust, that blind faith would have just crumbled. Shut the door behind you. So block the noise. And she went. The next thing for me was the fact that, and he says, pour it into all the vessels and set aside the full ones. This woman goes in. Well, before I come back to that, the action, it hit me that she went and took action. So the miracle required participation. The miracle that you are expecting in your life, in your business, in whatever it is, in your job, whatever it is, it requires your participation. Listening, hearing, taking it in and say, oh wow, yes, without taking action is not good. We make God to be like a liar. Oh Father, yes, I believe, I trust, oh yes, but then taking the action is not showing up. We're not measuring. She and her sons had to physically pour the oil. She physically poured the oil. And so let's take its faith is not passive. Faith is active. So if we are saying, oh no, Lord, April is going to be different. The question is, who am I? What's the difference in me from what it was? So we need to act on what we believe for us to see it, which means consistency, which means action for that result, whether it's posting, whether it's selling, whether it's following up, we need that consistency. So the miracle requires participation, but it goes now back to understanding that she went from him and shut the door behind her and her sons. Obedience. How many times that statement of, hey, you're doing it for I'm just making money for her, or I'm just making money for him, pausing to think that whatever it is that you're doing for the other person. So it's such a big facade, and those are part of the things, because sometimes the noise is not from outside. Sometimes the noise is from ourselves. Sometimes the noise is from the person we used to be. Sometimes we in every human we have that good and the the yin and the yang. It's sometimes listening to that voice within yourself that makes you feel like, oh no, you're doing something for somebody else. So blocking that noise and then taking the necessary action. The closed door protects the process. Shut the door behind you. Not every phase of your journey needs an audience. Guard your growth season. Right now, many people may be feeling like they're drowning. Many people may be realizing that they're growing. You need to be. So even when you want to speak to somebody about what you're going through, you need to pause and think, who am I sharing this with? Am I going to, is this going to edify the other person? Is it going to edify me? How is it going to affect the next steps? What next? Okay, if I share what I'm going through with Ayanda, what is the goal there? Am I sharing with Ayanda because I know she's strong enough, she can help me out, and I know that by the time, or am I going now to share with somebody who is new in the business, who will say, is this what you guys are going through? Am I going to share with somebody who perpetually, imagine going to share what you are doing with somebody who has told you will never make it. Oh no, this my upline is so terrible, or this business, I sold, my profit was so little. Are you telling the right person is it going to edify or is it going to bring down? Close the door, shut the noise, and just take action. But you know what I noticed? And somebody drew one of the leaders on Saturday drew my attention to the fact that she worked with a team. She didn't do it alone. She and her sons, and they were in unison. So if you want to grow, consider that you need to respect the team. Understand that you are part of a team. Whether you are the son, in this case, we're listening to the leader, the mom, or you are the mom working together with the son. She went in. They required the participation. So the growth is not just dependent on you. You are part of a team. You got plugged in with purpose. Are you fulfilling your part of that deal for you to say the growth is happening? Or are you a spectator waiting to see, shall we, if we rise, we rise, we fall, so that you can also join but now she began to pour. And this, practically, when I thought about it, first of all, it was blind faith. It made no sense. In today's world, in our daily right now, imagine just being told, no, take that bottle of oil, go borrow drums, and you go borrow Jojo tank, you borrow all the big things. Just like when, imagine that period when they say the world was coming to an end and people were going to buy candles. I don't know how many of you were born at that time or was old enough to remember, but people bought candles and they say, oh, 3 days of darkness, and people were storing things in the hope that, I'm buying candles, so many that in case with the 3 days of enough for that. And you go and borrow so many containers. And he says, from this, I'm wondering, standing here. I mean, I have a lot of faith in our pastors and in our leaders, but I really wonder if I was told, take this bottle of oil. Let us pretend this is a bottle of oil and pour. And she started pouring. And she started pouring. I kind of feel like she went into a trance. I feel like she was doing this without even realizing what she was doing. And she was pouring, and the next container was full. And she poured, and she poured, and as she poured, she kept pouring. The containers were getting full. She kept pouring, she kept pouring, she kept pouring. She just went on in blind faith, not knowing how your leader is telling you, do this. Sell the 2 gel, do the challenge, just do it, take action, just do it. You're not even looking at your account, you're just doing. They say talk to 5 people every day, you're just doing your 5 people every day. Take down numbers, share the opportunity, share the product, and you're doing, and you're doing, and you're doing, and you're doing. Take note. This woman did and did and did until she says, bring more, let me do again. And her son says, we have no more vessels. It had reached capacity. Flow continues until capacity stops. So the question is, what capacity have you given yourself? What have you permitted yourself to be able to do? The oil only stopped when there was no more jars. She continued. So when we start this business, we are encouraged to not only talk to say, look, your first, your first 100 people, go write your 100 list. And before we even get to 30, some people have given up. No, I don't know people. Some people even write and say, yeah. But some people get to the 100, they've not yet made one, and say, no, I will not stop. I will not stop. And they keep going and keep going. Some don't even get to 20 and they stop. Some don't. Some people started this month at the beginning swearing that this is the month. This is the month I'm changing my life. I'm going supervisor, definitely this month. And then by day 5, one family thing hits you. Oh, guys, this guy walked out of her life and she decides no more. This person, your bank account gets swiped and just say, hey, the money I was going to use to buy stock has gone. Now, does your oh no, what's off is this person in my team stopped working. They changed teams. They changed, they changed and went to one of those fly-by-night things. And so your business, oh my God, that's the worst. Where you stop your business because of another person's decision. The oil only stops where capacity stops. When there was no more jar, that's when the oil stopped. Provision meets capacity. Every day, one of my prayers is, Lord, enlarge my capacity. Lord, enlarge my capacity. What did Jabez say? Oh, that you bless me, Lord, enlarge my territories. Now, if we are not stepping into the person that you need to be to have that capacity, and you fall off. So your readiness determines how much you can receive. If we don't build systems, if we don't build structure, if we don't take inventory, growth stops. Let that sink in. And as this woman got to the max, You know what happened next? It says that now it came to pass when the vessels were full, she said to her son, bring me another. And he said, there is not another vessel. So the oil ceased. Then she came and told the man of God. You know, I found that profound. A lot of times we start our business, we start to work, and we achieve success. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Some of us, we make those sales, we sign up people, we rank advanced there. And then you think you no longer need your upline. You think you no longer need the mentors who got you there. You think you now know it all, and you can survive. Yeah, you can. But this woman with wisdom went back to the source. She went back to give account to say, I have done what you said, and I have the oil. She did not forget where she started from. She went back and said, I have the oil. And he gave her the next direction. Go and sell the oil, pay your debts, and you and your sons live on the rest. This, for me, I remember during the masterclass in January, Mr. B shared this. He just mentioned this, and he said, hey, even the Bible says we should go, and he quoted this. And I thought, oh my goodness. But I didn't even remember that until now. It came back to, and really powerfully. He says, go and sell. So even the Bible tells us to sell. Who are you to say you cannot sell? Like how? We are constantly selling. You're selling yourself, you're selling your ideas, you're selling your good behavior, you're selling your bad behavior, you're selling your integrity or not. You are constantly selling. We are constantly in a place of sales. But the question is, what are you choosing to sell? Are you selling yourself a sad, soppy story that yours is the worst situation? Or are you selling hope? Are you selling the fact that, you know what? If it's got to be, it's got to be me. I can do this for my family. Remember this woman's starting point, people. I'm taking you back to the fact that this is a woman who had lost her husband. She had a mega why. She connected to her why like she was cray-cray. She had a mega why. Widow, already in mourning, about to lose 2 sons. Big. It was big. She had to. She knew she had to do what the prophet said. She was, and I now said, God, please give me a trance-like faith. You know what I mean? Trance. You know, when someone is in a trance, like the person is hypnotized. That's what I was describing, that she was going and pouring like she was in a trance, like she was hypnotized. May I have hypnotic faith in you, God, that I sit and I take my business seriously and take the necessary action. That's my prayer, and for me and for you. And so she continued. Now, recognize something. He says, go sell, pay your debts. And you understand, I asked myself, what type of oil was that woman pouring in? I just feel it could not have been sunlight. Oh, not sunlight, sunflower. I feel it was not canola. Could it have been crude oil? Could it have been this Irani, this oil that we're looking for? Was it fuel? Because the oil must have been of so much value that it was enough. It was enough olive oil. Oh, was it olive oil? You see, and the question now was, what quantity of oil was so much that it paid off the debts for the lives of her son. Now, that same oil solved multiple problems. That oil paid the debts. That oil provided for her. She paid the debt and lived off the rest. So it now made me think about, this is where that legacy comes in. What is in your hands? Oh my God, what has God given us in this business opportunity that is taking people's names off? People are breaking their credit cards. They are paying off the debt, building houses, sending their kids to good schools, flying, changing. People are coming. We hear this day in, day out. People from rags to riches story. They are plugged in. People are contributing to their churches. They are able to contribute to their changing the. We had some massive testimonies in Pretoria when Ayanda said yesterday, please people attend events. Oh my goodness. Attend events because it's a game changer. One testimony can be the only testimony you need for you to wake up to what we are sitting on. Somebody with kidney failure, how taking this product changed her own life, and she's alive to share the testimony. People, that same oil served several problems. This same one business that we are underlooking. I started about, remember what we said at the beginning? I have nothing except this little oil. That nothing that was overlooked is what paid off her debts and was sufficient for her and her sons to leave us. What is this nothing that we are looking at, this business opportunity that has been placed in our hands? I have nothing. That same she paid off. One solution can create multiple streams of income. Who knows if after she sold it off, then she was able to buy a clothing thing and started selling food, and that oil money from that oil began to help her to generate other sources. One product, one service can generate income, impact, and a legacy. The legacy style income. And then finally, God uses what you already have to create overflow. What do you have in your hands? What products do you have in your house? Do you have your mouth that you can talk to people? What do you have in your hands? You say you want to start the business, but you don't have the money to start. And you started on 0, whatever, or whatever, how small. What have you done with the little that came with? You have a personality. You can talk, you can read, you can write, you can dance, you can bake. Oh, I don't have anything in my house, but can you go and bake amaguinas and sell them and get some money to buy it? What do you have in your house? Do you have clothes that you are brand new, you're fairly used? Things, honestly, when desperation comes, we make a plan. And I usually say that I have not seen, I'm yet to see that they say, oh no, that person's family member passed away, and because there's no money, the corpse will never be buried. No, when it comes to funerals, money shows up somewhere, because where focus goes, energy flows. Where your mind is, where you can never take no for an answer, a breakthrough comes in. When you decide that I will, 4K's credit is a non-negotiable, it will not pass you by. Your breakthrough is already in your hands. Please, let's stop waiting for more. Let's stop thinking that, no, the buying 0.5 cc's is nothing. If you do not have enough money for 4 cc's, you won't do it. Stewardship is in the present. It's now. It's now. Your current opportunity that you have, the current products that you have, the current follow-ups that you have, the names, your who do you know list, the asking for referrals, the people that you think they can't give you anything. That security at your yesterday, that one is nothing. That child, that person, that child in your house, that child you have in your house, your very child in your house, you do not have an idea of what privilege you have to be a mother of a child who can bring you friends, who can bring you business partners, whom by the way you look after that child can bring you your next customer. You can multiply. You can multiply. So that's just it. I just thought, I was so filled with with gratitude to God for opening my eyes to this point, and I just think there is so much value for business and for our personal lives in this, and I thought I could not go without sharing this. It is the 3rd week in our business. If you're feeling right now like I don't know what to do, let's go back. What's in our hands? Let's think. Let's write it out. Let's think of all the possible potentials. We've got the Logic skincare. The 3, I had a conversation driving back from Durban this afternoon with a friend who with an acquaintance who buys the products every now and then. And the last time she bought for her kids that she wants them to try the what do you call the body wash, and I touched base with her. I touched base because she was concerned about and really indeed she was saying to me, oh no, her kids, her 12-year-olds begin to have little breakouts and she's concerned and blah, blah, blah. And the child will not want to do anything 7 steps. And I said, you are in luck. We've just come out with a new set of products. Before we had the Sonia, we had mentioned a couple of things, but I mentioned the logic and I said 3-step. All you need to do is to cleanse. Immediately after having the shower, apply aloe essence. And before stepping out, apply the moisturizer. It's done. It's finished. I touched base with my son to check, who's turning 15, how it's worked for him between the Sonia skincare kits and he says he prefers Logic. So you use the product yourself so you can. And one thing I usually recommend is encourage people to trial your products for a few days. What do? Don't ever use any product to the end. Your spray, when you are using your spray and it's almost, this is almost finished, this is Desire almost finished, this goes in my handbag. Let this now become the tester. If you are battling to say I can't afford to I can't afford to give out my products for people to try, the one you are using, when it's almost finished, you're too gel, don't finish it, wipe it clean, give somebody to try for 2 to 3 days. That's a good way to bring in money from what you've already been using. You have your what do you call that, immune gummy. As you take it in public, take it when you go for a meeting, take it where you know that it is very obvious that you're not supposed to be taking as you're attending the meeting. Be intentional about making that noise so that somebody will ask you, what do you have there? Let them taste it, so that it's not all medication. And you'll find out that there'll be somebody who will be keen to have this immune boost, rich in 10 vitamins, nutrients. And I'm going to end here because the intention was not to stay for up to an hour, and by His grace, we're under an hour. But I just want to say thank you so much for showing up this night. I hope that this has blessed you. I hope that we will take action and not close our month on less than 4K credits. May the Lord bless and keep everyone here. May His face shine upon each and every one of us and be gracious to us. May He enlarge our territories and enlarge our capacities. And I pray for each and everyone that the blessing of Isaiah chapter 55 is yours. Please go and read it. It is one of my favorite blessings ever. When I read, and I'm sorry, I'll quickly go into that, because when I read, when that part of go and don't borrow a few, meaning expand your horizon, expand your territory, I just was reminded of what Isaiah says in Isaiah chapter 55 verse 5. I love the 555. Surely you shall call a nation you do not know, and nations who do not know you shall run to you. And that's what I pray for you, that as you do your business with consistency, people will begin to phone you to say, I heard about you, I heard this, and nations, people who you do not know, will recommend you. But we need to step into it to be able to claim this, because of how we live our lives. Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Coach Ayanda, for sharing that. Please, let's take it home. Yeah. Any questions or any comments before we go off?
Wow, thank you so much, Aretha. That was so well needed. Well, personally, I really needed that one. I really needed that pick me up. I know sometimes as leaders, we are not allowed to be vulnerable to you guys, to show what, hey, but yes, we are all human and we all go through stuff. And yeah, we keep our faces up. And we are truly grateful. What a revelation. I mean, one has known this verse, well, for me all my life, but today was another totally different revelation from what I know. I'm so touched. I'm so touched. You know, that when you said the woman when she was asked, Uti, what do you have on your hand? And she said nothing, you know. And it's so crazy. It's so amazing that you some of us, maybe we come into this amazing business opportunity and yet we don't know what we have put ourselves into. You know, we see it as a nothing. You know, and as a result it becomes very hard because we do not prioritize it. We don't put it, we don't see it as something, we see it as nothing. We see it as something that is just a by the way, you know, and as a result, the results thereof will follow that mindset, you know. So yeah, thank you so much. Let me, if there's anyone else who'd love to say something as well. But thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. Thank you.
So much. Yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. If there's no question and no other comments, we can call it a night. Thank you, Chantal, for joining us tonight. I see your hands. Well done. Thank you. That's blessings. All right. Thank you, Coach Ayanda, for the platform, please. It's awesome and fine to close for the night. Thank you.
Thank you so much.